I'm a very tired person today, but tiredness has a very good quality to it. Sometimes, when you're too tired to jump around and do all of the stupid, crazy things, the happy-go-lucky things, you start to consider, you're sitting still long enough that you can consider some things. You consider the internet, for instance, YouTube. People look at me right now. You probably already have a whole set of prejudices as to who I am, what I am, or what I'm not. What's in a face? What is in a face? Think about it. How many people have you chatted online with that you've never met in your life? You don't know who they are. You don't know where they are, really. You don't know what gender they are. They could be anything. But it's funny how quickly you'll fall into a what is the word I'm looking for? Rapport with them. You start to form an image of who they are. And then maybe one day you'll meet that person. And when you meet that person, it isn't anything like you expected. Or maybe it is. I think we as a species, or even as a race, and by race I mean the human race, we really judge too much and too harshly those around us. It's funny, when you walk down the street and you look at person A, person B, person C, in your mind, before you've ever even spoken to them, you've already got their womb to tomb dossier figured out in that little mind of yours, And how many of them have you cruelly placed a judgment on them that person is worthless, that person is good for nothing, I can tell just by the way he looks. Let me tell you, you'd be surprised how many people choose not to look good, or how many people choose not to dress in the greatest fashions. But if you spent more than 10 minutes with that person, you might actually find out that they're the best friends you could have ever met. They'd help you out of any jam that you could ever be in. Never ever judge a person just by the face. Take time to talk to a person and get to know them. You may find a friend for life. You may find an enemy. I'm not going to kid you. There's a lot of people out there that have nothing better to do but hate other people. Personally, though, I think the average attitude of the person is you should have some level of love for your neighbor. Not like love like a girlfriend, love like a boyfriend. A general love of humanity is a healthy thing to foster in your mind. Many great things have been done in the course of history by people who had a general love of their brethren. And generally, many horrible things in history. Adolf Hitler, Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar. I can think of a few other characters that were not very likable and who did harbor some degree of hate for others, more or less, some segment. The fact is, people who generally are antisocial end up like most of you, sitting in a basement, on a computer screen, chatting, portraying a persona of whom you have no resemblance. So, this is probably a self-destructive video for me, but get up and go outside and discover the world, and learn to treat your fellow man with some indifference and maybe some friendliness. You'll find that most will be friendly back to you. And it's like I said, you can't turn the pages in the chapters of your life by being a shut-in. At some point, you've got to get up. And you can't go about it with a crappy attitude. Just get out there And don't judge people for how they look. You know, what judgments have you formed about me? I can tell you right now, beyond YouTube, you don't know much about me. You know, I could be the world's greatest humanitarian, or I could be a person that kills people on a whim. You just don't know. You don't know. But for those that want to talk, or correspond video-wise back and forth, I don't have a problem with that. I don't mind getting to know other people. As my wife says, I know no strangers, and I believe in that philosophy. I would rather try to be nice to a person than try to be a total asshat to a person on sight alone. I've had a lot of people who have been total asshats to me, and the world is full of asshats. It's a good term to learn, asshat. What is an asshat? You've bumped into them occasionally. You'll know it, as they say, balls to bones, when you have run into an asshat. They're generally antisocial. Very generally antisocial people, who when you ask them the time of day, they usually have some crappy comment, or they just go about their business as if you didn't talk to them. The world is replete with asshats, but you know what? Asshats go along their miserable lives and they never really grow into much. Then you run into the people who are very friendly. They'll carry on a conversation with you. They generally want to know how your life is going. And sometimes I generally want to know how theirs is going. Have you ever looked at people who go along the street sometimes and wonder, you know, what must that person's life be like, a day in that person's life? What things are pulling their strings? What conflicts what triumphs are they having in this day, you know? Who are they? I have run into quite a number of these people, and I can tell you, even the people who turned out to be complete jerks, it's enriching every person that I meet. I learn a little bit more about my fellow man and woman with every one of them that I talk to. When I go into the restaurant down the street, you know, it's always somebody new there, some new face. And even though I may never talk to them, I do wonder sometimes. I do wonder, you know, what is your life like? You know, how is your life treating you? And so I'm going to ask all of you, if you can get past the bald-headed man here, how is your life treating you today? Are you going to answer with a legitimate response? Or are you going to be an asshat? Well, that choice is yours. Either way, you're not hurting me by being an asshat, and you're not hurting me by responding properly, you know, in a general way, you know. Make your response count and be a decent person. You know, we're all adults here. I've made I don't know how many videos, and I'm very thankful that the people who have responded to me have been very friendly, and those that have responded to me as asshats have simply had their responses deleted. All I have to do is push a button. That's another great thing about the internet. You don't have to listen to somebody you don't want to. But as all-powerful as it is, I prefer real life to chat life, or Facebook life, or Warcraft life, or even YouTube life. YouTube life has some utilitarian purpose. I am communicating with more people than I could possibly meet in the course of my entire existence. You know? Who knows how many people have watched these videos I've made? They're not the greatest in the world, but hey, somebody out there apparently likes them. I know a few of you do. So, you know, if you want to be a friend, respond back, comment, or leave me a message. If you want to be an asshat, well, I'm sure there are thousands of other people and millions of other videos you could be watching right now. You know, that's not within my power, that's within yours. And I'm not trying to be a smart ass. Just be good to each other, people. Be good to each other. Treat your fellow man with some degree of dignity. Because in the end, after all the toys and the crap are gone, it's just you and your birthday suit, honey bunny.